Alright, it's part 236, Title 49, Chapter 2, 236.71, signal wires and cables. 236.71, with signal wires on the pole line with the aerial cable. The signal wire on the pole line shall be so securely tied in the insulator properly with the fastening of the cross arm with the bracket of the support of the pole with the other support. Signal wires should not be interfered with or be interfered with the other wires of the pole line. Aerial cable shall be supported with a messenger. 236.72 reserve. 236.73 open wire transmission line clearing for the other track circuits. Open wire transmission line operating with a voltage of 750 volts more shall be placed not less than 4 feet above the nearest of the cross arm carrying the signal communication circuit. 236.74 protection insulated wire splicing the underground wire. The insulated wire shall be protected with a mechanical injury. The insulation shall not be punctured with the tap that purposes splices. Underground wire shall have insulation resistance at least equal to the wire splice. 236.75 reserve. 236.76 tagging the wires interference with the wires and tags and signal apparatuses. Each wire shall be tagged and otherwise marked, and they can be identified with each of the terminal tag and other marked identification shall be made with the insulating material, so arrange the tags were not to interfere with moving the parts apparatus. Statute 236.101. Purpose of the inspection test of the removal of the service of the relay device failing to meet the testing requirements of the following inspection testing shall be made according to the specification for the carrier with the subject for the approval of the FRA to determine the apparatus and equipment and maintain a condition to perform its intended function. The electronic device, the relay and other electromagnetic devices which fail to meet the requirements of the specified test shall be removed from the surface of it, shall not be restored with the surface of the operating characteristic of the accordance with the limits within the surface device and relay designed to operate. 236.102 Sethmore search light signal mechanism. A. The Sethmore signal mechanism shall be inspected at least once every 6 months for the test of the operating of the characteristic of all the parts shall be made at least once every 2 years. Searchlight signal mechanism shall be inspected to the mechanical movement that shall be observed while the operating with the mechanism to all the positions at least once every 6 months. Test of the operating characteristic shall be made at least once every 2 years. 236.103 switch circuit controller and point detector. The switch circuit controller or the point detector operated with a hand operated switch or by power operated mechanically operated switch and lock movement shall be inspected and tested at least once every 3 months. 236.104 shunting following circuit. Shunting following circuit should be inspected and tested at least once every 3 months. 236.105 electrical lock. Electrical lock except force drop type shall be tested at least once every 2 years. 236.106 106 relays. Each relay functioning on which the effect of the safety of the train operation shall be tested for at least once every 4 years. For the expected alternating current with the central field type of the relay shall be tested at least once every 12 months. Of the alternating current with the vane type of the relay with the direct current and direct current polarity type relay without the relay shall be tested with at least once every 2 years, and the relay of the soft iron magnetic structure shall be tested at least once every 2 years. 236.107 ground test. The example is provided with the paragraph of the section A and B of the section of the test for the grounds of the energy furnishing power for the circuits for the functioning in which the effects of the safety of the training operation shall be made with such energy but for the place in the service shall be made at least once every 3 months thereafter. The provisions of this rule shall not apply to the track circuit, the wire for the common and return with the wire for the ground and common, the single break circuit with the alternating current power distribution circuit for the ground with the interesting safety. In statute 236.108 insulating resistant ties test wires and trunking cable. The insulation resistant wires and cables except for the wires connected directly to the track rail shall be tested when the wires capable of insulation are dry. The insulation resistant testing should be made between all the conductors and ground, between the conductors of each multiple conductor cable, between the conductors and trunking when the wires and the cables are installed at least once every 10 years thereafter. The insulation resistance of the wire of the cable is found not to be less than 5,000 ohms. The prompt exaction shall be taken to repair the replace for the defective wire on the cable until the such defect of the wire or the cable is replaced. Insulation resistance tests shall be made annually. In no case shall a circuit of the permitted the function of the conductor with having the insulation resistance to be grounded or between the conductor of less than 200,000 ohms during a period required for repair and replacement. Statute 236.109 time release of the timing relays and timing devices. Time release timing relays timing devices shall be tested at least once every 12 months, but the timing shall be maintained at not less than 90% of the predetermined time interval which shall be shown on the plans of the mark of the time release timing relay or timing devices. 236.110 result of the test. Result of the test made in compliance with the statute 236.102, 236.109 inclusive with the 236.376 to 236.387 inclusive inclusive of the 236, 576, 577, 586, 589, and 586 to 589, inclusive of the statute 236, 917A, most recorded with the pre-printed with the form provided with the railroad or the electronic means subject to the approval of the FRA associated administrative with the safety. These records must show the name of the railroad, place for the day of the time, the equipment of the tested, result of the test, the repair of the placement, adjustment with the made with the condition in which the apparatus was left. Each record must be signed by an employee making the test electrically coded with identify the number of the automated testing equipment where applicable, to less otherwise noted with the file official officer supervisor officially having jurisdiction and available to the inspection, replacing the FRA with the FRA certified state inspectors. B. The result of the test made with the compliance within the statute 236-587 must be retained for 92 days. Result of the test made with the compliance with the statute 236-917A must be retained for this follows. 1. Result of the test must be retained. The installation modification must be retained for the life cycle of the equipment. The tested may be kept in any office designated with the railroad. Result of the periodic test required for the maintenance of repair of the equipment. The test must be retained until the next record of the file with no case less than 1 year. As a result of the other than tests listed in the section must be retained until the next record of the file with no less than 1 year. B. The electronic automated with the tracking the system to meet the requirements of the contained paragraph A of the section must be capable of being removed with the monitored by the FRA at any time with ensure the integrity of the system. The FRA associated administrator for the safety may prohibit or revoke any railroad authority to utilize the electronic automated tracking system to remove the reprieve printed with the forms of the FRA that is electronic and automated tracking system not properly secured within accessibility of the FRA with the certified state inspectors to railroad employees require access discharge for the assigned duty to fail with the adequately track of the monitor with the equipped with the associated administrative with the floor safety to provide effective the railroad with a written statement of the basis for his or her decision prohibiting the revocation of the railroad utilizing the electronic automatic tracking system. Subpart B, automatic blocking signal system.